Good morning, joyful gathering. So, Science of Mind and Ernest Holmes describes this energy, consciousness, vibration we call God as being omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. I'm sure you've heard those words thrown around here before a few times. In case you weren't aware though, the prefix omni in Latin means all or limitless. So omniscient means all-knowing or limitless awareness. Omnipotent means all-powerful. And omnipresent means that this energy and vibration we call God is present everywhere all the time. Now, I don't know about you, but when I started on my journey with Science of Mind, probably over 10 years ago, that human part of my mind couldn't totally comprehend cognitively what that meant. It was as though I felt like God was like dividing itself, and a little piece of God was with me, and a little piece of God was with my neighbor, and a little piece of God was in another country. And at some point, I just gained the awareness that omnipresence does not mean that. It means that God, this energy, vibration, and consciousness in its totality is present everywhere all the time. That means that all of it, all of that awareness, all of that knowledge, all of that power is present right where you are and right where I am right now. So all of it in its totality, in its infinite nature, is present right here where you are. So would you be willing to agree with me then in saying that if all of this is God and God is infinite, so are you? You are an infinite being?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Now, in the beginning of this year, when we started 2019, I wasn't really feeling so infinite, let's just say. I started the year feeling a little bit or a lot stuck. I started feeling like I was very constricted. I didn't feel expanded. I had a lot of doubt. I had worries. I didn't really know cognitively what it was or where it was coming from. It's just, honestly, I didn't like the way I was feeling. I didn't like, where my mind was going. And synchronistically, at the same time, I started listening to a podcast called Access Consciousness. This was part of my research and development for the podcast that I had created a few months before that, my own. So in the process, I like listening to other people's podcasts to see how they are podcasting. And so in this podcast, the host would actually answer questions from the listeners that were calling in with their own, issues, challenges, limitations. And he would probe them with different questions. And then he would use with them this clearing statement that pretty much worked almost like a magic wand that would allow them to move beyond that limitation and create something different. And so I would listen to the questions, I would listen to the clearing statement, and I would be like, that's pretty cool. What would happen for me in turn is that after listening to this, I was feeling lighter, and whatever might have appeared to be a limitation or a challenge in my own life started shifting, even though I wasn't the caller that was calling in the show. And so, many of you know me, and if you don't, there's a little secret I'd like to share with you, and that is that I am completely addicted to consciousness and to training, and spirituality as well. And so I chose to start another journey of trainings, and those were trainings with Access Consciousness, and the first one that I took is called Access Bars. Now, Access Consciousness basically offers different tools to help you change and transform from within, to move beyond your limitations and create a brand new reality with your life. And as I dove into exploring more of the trainings and the teachings, I began to realize the similarities between Access Consciousness and Science of Mind. And I also like the way that Access Consciousness simplifies those concepts that we learn through Ernest Holmes and Science of Mind. Because let's face it, as amazing as Ernest Holmes is and its incredible wisdom, sometimes it might feel as though he's talking a complete different language. It's like we need a translator or a dictionary to understand what exactly means and how we can practically apply those concepts in our life. And that's one of the reasons why I love how Access Consciousness simplifies it and allows me to embody them and actually put them into practice in my own life. So just like Science of Mind, Access Consciousness teaches us that we are infinite beings. So what does that exactly mean? What it means is that we have infinite seeing, infinite being, infinite knowing, infinite choosing, and infinite perceiving. And so it means that we have infinite awareness. Now, how often have you personally come to the realization that you have infinite awareness? Let me ask you again. How often have you come to the realization that you have infinite awareness? A little?
Yeah.
A little more?
A little.
Many times?
Many times.
Friday and Sunday morning.
When you hear something more. Yeah, exactly. So, are you willing to play with me and this concept a little bit more so that we can experientially explore together what it might mean for you to be an infinite being that possesses infinite awareness?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do it then. So right where you are, sitting, you can keep your eyes open if you like, and just ask yourself this question. You can ask it in your mind or out loud, your choice. What am I aware of? And then just notice what you notice. And now, let's take it a little bit further. I invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath in, please. Inhaling deeply through your nose, exhaling fully. And as you take your next breath in, allow yourself to expand that energy, vibration, and consciousness 10 miles in every direction. 10 miles on top of you, 10 miles in front of you, 10 miles underneath you, on either side of you, and behind you. And now take another deep breath in and expand 1,000 miles in every direction. Move beyond the boundaries of your body, move beyond the edges of your body, and allow this energy to expand even more in all directions. And take another deep breath in. And now ask it to expand 100,000 miles in every direction. On top of you, underneath, on every side of you. So that it encompasses not only this entire room that you're sitting in right now, but the entire state of New Jersey and all of the states of the United States of America, or whatever country they might be listening in for the video. And now take another deep breath in and allow it to expand even more, so that this infinite nature that is who you are, this infinite consciousness, expands to all continents, all countries, everywhere on this earth. You are completely connected and one and in communion with it. You are limitless. It is limitless. You are infinite. And it is infinite. And from this space, from this energy, from this consciousness, ask yourself the same question. What am I aware of? And notice what you notice. And notice when we ask, what am I aware of? You're not necessarily looking for an answer. You're not necessarily looking for a thing, a cognitive awareness. You are asking for an energetic awareness. Because as an infinite being, one with all, in communion with all, you are this energy, you are this vibration, and you are this consciousness. And from this space, allow the totality of your being, and please include your body in it, as you ask one more time, what am I aware of? And before I completely lose you, I invite you to slowly take a deep breath in and begin to slowly bring that awareness, that consciousness, that energy and vibration slowly back to here and now, back to this room, back to the chair you're sitting on, back to your body. And then slowly open up your eyes and give yourself permission to be fully present and fully aware here and now. And what was that experience like for you?
Wonderful.
Wonderful?
Love.
Beautiful.
Very light.
Very light. Exactly, because we as infinite beings are that light. So this is a wonderful tool that you can put into practice anytime you're not feeling infinite, anytime you're not feeling light. And this thing we call awareness is not in a place far away from you, just like God is not in a space that's far away from you. It resides deep inside of you, is who you are. I love to define awareness as this incredible superpower that we have deep inside of us. It's this amazing superpower that can allow you to create beyond this reality. It's this superpower that can allow you to absolutely change anything. And I mean anything. There is nothing in your life that cannot be changed. There is nothing in your life that cannot be changed. And any part of you that might be doubting what I'm saying, might not be sure this is your truth, would you like to destroy that and uncreate it right now, and to give yourself the possibility to access new possibilities and new changes in your life with total ease, without it having to be struggle, without it having to be challenging. No matter what you might have experienced in the past, you are fully present, you are fully powerful, and you are fully aware right here and now. So are you willing to consider that possibility to allow this incredible superpower that is your infinite awareness?
Yes.
And so, in case you were wondering, these are some of the reasons, if you need some reason and justification as to why you might want to be more aware in your life, it's simply for those little things or not so little things that we tend to label as problems or challenges, right? I'm sure no one in this room has ever felt that or noticed that. You've never been stuck, you've never been stressed, you've never been overwhelmed, right? So what if this incredible superpower that is awareness could actually help you shift beyond that, create beyond that? Even if you, like me, don't even know what that strict, constricting, weird energy is that's keeping you stuck, that's keeping you in a problem or in a challenge. See, one of the great awarenesses that I gained through Access Consciousness, or I received through Access Consciousness, is that we don't always need to know what the problem is in order to change it. And when we go into the why is this happening to me, or why is this showing up in my life, and I know that we also learn this in Science of Mind as well, you can shift that a little bit and allow that awareness to come forth and give yourself the possibility to create from a different space and from a different place. Because obviously if you're here right now, or if you're listening or watching this video or the podcast, you are definitely different. And there is absolutely a part of you that knows that this thing we call reality, this reality that is the solidity that represents this reality, this contextual reality that might be filled with conditions and circumstances, it's not the ultimate reality, correct?
Right.
We know here that the ultimate reality is so much more than that. It is this oneness, it's this connection, it's this energy, it's this vibration that we call God, divinity, infinity. That is who we are. And so we have access to it at all times. And yet, sometimes we forget about it. And sometimes we might make choices, consciously or subconsciously, that actually eliminate the awareness, and so it cuts us off from creating beyond this reality and accessing a new place of possibilities and change. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Awesome. So what do you think are some of the things that eliminate awareness and cut us off from that oneness, from that connection, from that knowing that we also are this infinite beings that are super powerful and super aware?
Fear.
Fear.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Day-to-day life.
Day-to-day life? Yes.
Limiting
What else?
beliefs.
Mental beliefs?
Limiting.
Limiting beliefs. Yes, limiting beliefs. What else?
Doubt.
Doubt. Totally. Anything else?
Traumas.
Drama. Yes, dramas and traumas for
Sadness
sure.
and
Sadness. Mhm.
Anxiety.
Anxiety. Anger. Totally. Anything else? Okay, so we named all the things that you seem to be aware of that can cut off your awareness and your oneness and your connection. And let me ask you a question. How many times have you made yourself wrong for being sad, for being afraid, for having doubt, for having fear, and for forgetting everything that we just talked about at the beginning of this talk?
every time.
A lot?
Every time.
Every time? Yes, totally. I'm there too. And so everyone and every time you've made yourself wrong, you are judging yourself, right?
Yeah.
So do you think judgment expands the superpower of awareness,
No.
or does it constrict it? Constrict it. And going back to the beginning of our conversation, do you think, not really do you think, because I don't really want your mind to get in the way, but what do you know? Would an infinite being do judgment?
No.
No.
So why are you doing judgment?
Habit.
Habit. Okay?
Conditioning.
Why else are you doing judgment?
Conditioning.
The old conditioning.
All conditioning. Okay? Any other reasons or justifications why you might be doing judgment in your life? Why you've been judging yourself for being wrong?
Unforgiveness.
Yeah.
Unforgiveness.
Unforgiveness?
You forget.
Because you were judged? Might you be doing judgment sometimes so that you can fit into this reality and be like everyone else in this reality? Might you be judging yourself sometimes because you don't want to stand out? Because you don't want other people to see this incredible superpower that is who you are? To see, to notice, to perceive this infinite nature that is you?
Compare.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes,
Yeah.
sure.
Compare.
So my next question for you is, do you want to continue to do that, or would you be willing to change it?
Change.
Would you like to wait until you go home to change it, or would you like to do it now?
Now.
Right now.
Okay. So everywhere you've been doing judgment, you've been making yourself wrong for not getting it right, for forgetting that you are an infinite being that is omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. Would you like to destroy all of that and uncreate it right now, please?
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm going to use a statement we use in Access Consciousness. That's a statement I told you they used on the podcast, and that's what got me hooked on to the simple change and transformation that it offers it. So it's like, it sounds like Chinese, but it really acts like a magic wand. So I'm going to say it out loud. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to even believe it. Just allow it to be present with you, and it will completely begin to remove those limitations, the judgments, the lies that you bought as your own about who you are and who you are not. So everything that is times a gazillion. Will you be willing to destroy
Yeah.
and uncreate it right now?
Yes.
So right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Awesome. And how many lies, whose lies, and what lies are you using to create the limitations you are choosing? And everything that is times a gazillion, will you be willing to destroy and uncreate it right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Right or wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Awesome. So see, I'm not going to go into all the specifics of what this clearance statement is, but it literally goes to the point of creation where these judgments, these lies, these limitations started, and it allows them to completely dissolve right now. So that instead of going back to that past, to the old habits that you've been creating from, you can actually be fully present, fully aware right here and now, and create from this present, from this moment in time, and receive a different result than that which you might have been receiving before that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. And one of the other things, actually before I go into that, so let me share with you some pragmatic tools that you can actually utilize if you choose to expand your awareness so that you can totally bring and turn on that superpower that is awareness. And so we learn, through Joyful Gathering, Science of Mind, and Ernest Holmes, that we can use meditation and affirmative prayer to help us become more aware, to help us remember that we are infinite beings. And a simple tool that I learned from Access Consciousness and this amazing book that the founder, Gary Douglas, wrote, it's called 10 Keys to Total Freedom. I highly recommend it. And that is the power of a question. So it's simple, it's easy, so please don't use it at home. Don't use this to change your life, because it might not work for you. But if you're willing, simply asking yourself a question allows you to open up more doors to more awareness, and then turns that awareness can help you create different possibilities. So what would be a question that you would like to ask yourself?
Who am
Awesome. Great. And when we're asking a question, I invite you to perhaps move away a little bit of what you might have been doing so far in this lifetime, and maybe possibly many lifetimes. And that is, when we ask a question, we are searching for an answer. And so an answer is a one way of being or doing something. So it can certainly limit the possibilities that can show up for you, and in turn what you can create in your life. So I invite you to explore the possibility of, instead of searching for the answer, the right answer when you're asking a question, what would it be like if instead you were simply looking for awareness? And it's not for an awareness of the thing, the solidity of that thing. It's simply an energetic awareness that happens so quickly, it's so subtle, that when we have to retrack it with our mind, we might not even think that it actually happened. Trust, if you're willing, if this feels light for you, that it is happening, and that awareness will open up the doors beyond the challenges, beyond the limitations, beyond those things we label as problems in life. And so a great question to ask is that which we asked before when I guided you to expand into your infinite nature, and that is, what am I aware of? And you may choose to ask it often. And every time you ask it, just notice what shows up without actually looking for the right answer, without trying to not get it wrong and pretending that you're always getting it right. Just looking for that awareness. And that awareness will lead you to more awarenesses. And at some point, you have to choose, because also as an infinite being, you have the power of infinite choice. And as you choose, you in turn create more awareness. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So what could be another useful question to ask?
What am I to do?
Perfect. When you're feeling stuck and you don't know what to do, what am I to do, or what next? Great. And when we're asking questions, it's useful to also ask open-ended questions. A lot of times we might want to ask a question, and it's really a conclusion or a point of view or a statement with a question mark. That's not really a question. When you ask a question that's open-ended, it gives you a whole new world of possibilities. Another great question from this same book that I mentioned, 10 Keys to Total Freedom, is, would an infinite being truly choose this? So once you make a choice, you can ask yourself, would an infinite being truly choose this? So if you know, so it's not about judging yourself for the choices you're making, because then you enter this whole cycle of judgment, of separation, of limitation. It's about, number one, becoming aware when you are actually judging yourself or someone else. And then instead of judging that judgment and going back into the cycle, giving yourself the possibility of making a different choice. And one of the ways you can do that is by asking that question, would an infinite being truly choose this? And then notice what your awareness is. Notice if you receive a yes or a no. And if you receive a no, you can ask yourself, well, then why am I choosing it? Because we all agreed in the beginning of the conversation that we are infinite beings, correct? And so would an infinite being choose judgment or what causes greater awareness? Right. Not right, really. Correct. And the other great question, I would like to leave you with a few more questions as tools that you can practice and play with at any time. It's the title of this talk, which is, what am I aware of that I haven't acknowledged yet? That is such a powerful question. So that you can bring your awareness of your awareness into all of you. So what am I aware of that I haven't acknowledged yet? And my two favorites are, what else is possible? And how does it get any better than this? So in conclusion, I would like to leave you with, whenever you are faced with challenges or with adversity in your life, I invite you to the possibility of, instead of resisting them or judging yourself for being faced with those challenges or the adversity, to simply remember that you are an infinite being, you are never alone, you are not powerless, you are not this little fragile thing. You are super powerful, for you contain the power of awareness, the power of connection, the power that is God deep inside of you. And this is the power that you can put into practice into your daily life to choose more for you and to receive more for you and to allow yourself to become more aware. The question for you is, will you choose it?
Yes.
Thank you so much.